Hey everybody, what's up? How you doing? I got some new glasses. If you can tell, it's been a while since I made a new video. Well, I made one yesterday. That's not true. This one I have planned out though. It's gonna be another Bookerman. Booker. This shirt is very out of date, by the way. I still like the joke though. Bookerman video where I take something in wrestling that was booked and I changed the way it was planned. And it's kind of fitting. This is the third video because the first one was WWF, the second one was TNA. Now we're doing WCW, and I'm doing one of the worst, most famous fiascos in wrestling history, which was the WCW handling of Mike Awesome. And I got a little inspired by watching the Wrestling with Regret video about Mike Awesome. The man went from career killer to, Fat Chick Thrilla, to that 70s guy, to Canadian guy, less than a year. And none of these things led to any success, or any championship reigns, or anything, really. Just horrible, horrible gimmicks. And a guy Mike Awesome, who, may he rest in peace, one of the greatest big men that ever existed, could fly around the ring like a cruiserweight. Was around 6 feet 6, I think. So I'm gonna rebook that because that was some crap. So let's start with the beginning. Now he actually debuted by attacking Kevin Nash on the whole New Blood, the new era of Nitro with the New Blood and Millionaires Club. He debuted by attacking Nash, hit him with a crutch, cutting a promo. I'd keep that the same except take out the promo. This time attack Nash. So that works well. I mean, I like that. That starts a feud with Nash. It establishes Mike Awesome. It's a huge moment. Now later in the show, this is going to be important. I want to point out, because this is all kind of intertwined. It's about Mike Awesome, but we have to start planting the seeds, so to speak, of where he's going to go. So, Kidman still has a feud with a Millionaire Club member. I hate that name, by the way, Millionaires Club, but a dumb name for a team. It just already sounds stupid. But anyway, instead of Hogan, it's Ric Flair, because Ric Flair not only fits more for a guy who can have a good match with Kidman, because that's what you want, right? You want Kidman to look good, but also you have a whole story you can make there with Ric Flair. Maybe tell him he can't cut the mustard. Maybe Ric Flair's flirting with Tori. Pretty fucking simple shit. But we also need Hogan free because he's going to feud with Mike Awesome. But first, on the same Nitro, we're going to have Bischoff come out. Also, Billy Kidman's going to have his little thing Flair. Hogan's going to call out Bischoff in a separate segment and ask him what's going on with the whole Millionaires Club. New Blood. And basically, Bischoff's going to say, well, Hogan, we're friends. We've been friends a long time. But this is business. This isn't personal. And business-wise, you haven't made money for me in a long time. In fact, you've been draining money. You've been costing this company. And while it's going on, Hogan gets mad. He grabs Bischoff. He's like, well, you know, bro. And he gets his knee clipped by Hugh Morris. Not Mike Awesome. That'll be later. And Hugh Morris hits like a little half a matter on Hogan. And Bischoff leaves with Hugh Morris. That leads to a match at Spring Stampede. A non-tournament match. Now, Mike Awesome is not in the tournament. Put anybody else you want in there. Put New Blood, whatever, you know. Mike Awesome, it doesn't have a match at all yet. He hasn't had one yet. He hasn't had one announced or anything. So, Hogan basically beats Hugh Morris in 5 minutes. I don't like Hugh Morris, but it fits for the gimmick here, the story of New Blood, yada, yada, yada. He can hit a no laughing matter. Hogan kicks out, you know, they drop. After the match, Bischoff gets in the ring. He's disappointed with you, and Hogan gets Bischoff. He pushes Bischoff down. He doesn't punch him. He pushes him. He starts like shaking up. He's going to whoop his ass. And then from behind comes Mike Awesome. Hits him with a chair. Hits him with an awesome bomb. Just lays Hogan out. And that's the beginning of a feud between Hogan and Mike Awesome. And also, Mike Awesome starts calling himself the career killer. Excuse me. Now, this is going to lead to a match at Slamboree at the next WCW pay-per-view. In the meantime, though, Mike Awesome, first of all, Eric Bischoff is going to be his mouthpiece and his manager. He's going to call him his Gladiator, a reference to his other companies that he was in. He was called the Gladiator. Not Bodyguard, Gladiator, because I like that. Plus, Gladiator was a movie that's coming out in 2000. So, latch on to that whole zeitgeist of pop culture. Because WCW was going to do that so well anyway. They're going to do it anyway. It's better than having David Arquette be WCW champion, right? And he's going to basically, all the way from the Nitro after... He's going to make his debut on Nitro after... Spring Stampede, I can't think. He's going to beat Psychosis in a pretty fast match. Like, he's basically going to only face cruiserweights around this time. Except, two very important segments we're going to point out. And they're going to happen in the same week. It's like the week before Slamboree. One is going to be Hacksaw Jim Duggan comes out with a TV title. He's talking about how he's a TV champion. And he thinks the title deserves more respect. And he deserves more respect, too. He's only been on Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night, WCW, Anyway. So he wants, to defend the title tonight. And Bischoff comes out and he's like, you know what? We're going to win this history tonight. Because Hacksaw, you're right. That title has prestige and a legacy. And tonight, we're going to win this, the last ever television champion in WCW history. And of course, out comes Mike Awesome. They have a match. Mike just brutalized. In the beginning, Mike literally stands in the corner. He tells Hacksaw, come on. Hit me with your little clothesline. I don't know what he called it, but the clothesline he did. And Hacksaw hits it, and Mike Awesome doesn't even move. And Hacksaw, you can have him sell this with a facial expression like, oh shit, I'm dead, basically. And he gets power bombed. He gets power bombed once, and then Mike picks him up, doesn't pin him. He's down, but he's like, you know what? No. Puts him down again. Splash. Game over. Mike Awesome is the TV champion. He carries the title around for quite some time after this TV title. And he's announced as the last ever television champion. Because that would be a great heel heat getter. Because we want him to be heel, even though he's, awesome. He needs to be heel for a little bit. Okay, so I hope I don't ramble too much here. So, and then on the fun there after that, right before pay-per-view, Hogan is not in the building, we're told. And Mike Awesome attacks Jimmy Hart, who's friends with Hogan. He puts him through a table with an awesome bomb from the top rope. Because that would look cool. And also it's his message Hogan. Now at Slamboree, Awesome Hogan, in this match, at one point, Awesome hits the Awesome Bomb. At this point, nobody's kicked out of it. Hogan kicks out because we gotta have Hogan look a little strong. It's Hogan, whatever. But then Hogan hits a leg drop, a boot and leg drop, and Mike Awesome kicks out. And you can have Tony Schiavone say, "I've only seen one man kick out of that move, and it was a decade ago." Don't have to say who. And after that, Hogan, he's looking a little scared, but he starts doing the thing. He's waiting for Awesome to get up. He starts doing the shaking. So he waits. He does the Hogan Hulk up thing. He gets punched. And sure enough, Mike Awesome, he gets a boot. He goes to hit a boot to Mike. But this time when he gets a boot, the big boot, Mike Awesome turns around, spins around, kick to the gut, Awesome Bomb. He goes to the top, splash, beats Hogan. And then to further iterate the point and take out Hogan, he beats him. He puts a steel chair on his knee, takes out his knee, just does a splash on the knee. There, no more Hogan. Hogan's gone. Thus beginning the career killer. Now he has an entrance where he goes. Not only is he announced as the last TV champion, he's announced as the man who ended the career of Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Kevin Nash, and Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Now, however, we will have one little brief segment here where he does injure Hogan's knee, but then in the post-match, Nash comes from out of nowhere, and it's a jackknife powerbomb to him. He comes out, and he makes his return, and that's the beginning of a feud between those two to lead the Great American Bash. Now, we still have the storyline going, basically where Bischoff he's doing all the talking for Austin, because Austin wasn't really good at the mic. Great wrestler, not really good at the mic. You understand. But, a lot of wrestlers are like that. Let Bischoff hype this guy up, And, okay, so right before, he's still having matches mostly against cruiserweights, but he starts fighting a few bigger guys. Like, he beats Bam Bam Bigelow on a random Nitro, for example, to kind of build himself up a little bit. Nash also gets a few wins over some guys, to build each other up. So the Great American Bash, the week before, he actually holds the title, the TV title, and he speaks for really the first time when he says, I'm sick of carrying the dead weight. No, he says, I'm sorry, I fucked up. It's one thing to carry the dead weight of Hulk Hogan and Hacksaw Jim Duggan's career, but another carry this title that's dead weight. So you know what? I'm still last TV champion, but this title is going where it belongs, and he throws it in the trash. I think Awesome could go to a decent promo like that. He doesn't have to say much. Just give him a chance to speak, a little bit. He doesn't have to grow that much as a character, but anyway. So, a Great American Bash. he actually has a match with Nash in a ambulance match, and he wins. Now, at the same card, I'm going to explain a little, because Nash was in the main event of the Great American Bash in real life in 2000. I should point out, this was all 2000. 20 years ago. 21 years ago. Holy shit, I'm old. But anyway, so now you're gonna go, well, who's in now? Jeff Jarrett has actually in this storyline stayed champion for 2 months. He hasn't lost title. He hasn't had any bullshit with David Arquette, but he's also got Goldberg, and Goldberg beats him clean at the Bash to be the new champion. And the same night, also DDP beats Scott Steiner in a match for the U.S. title. Okay, so we kind of have 3 big matches, if you will. Okay, at the Great American Bash, at the next pay-per-view, not Great American Bash, was it Bash at the Beach? Now it's Awesome and DDP for the U.S. title. Pretty simple storyline, but now we're going to change things up a bit. Just a bit. Because we need things. So Goldberg in the main event, he beats Vampiro and Jeff Jarrett in a triple threat match. No, Vampiro and, I'm trying to remember how I had against him. Scott Steiner. Scott Steiner and Vampiro have a triple threat with Goldberg. He wins. He retains. And then at the same card though, Mike Awesome and DDP had a pretty back and forth match. He goes to hit an Awesome bomb from top rope. DDP is able to reverse it by he basically hooks the top rope so he can't go for the Awesome bomb. Then he further punches it at Awesome, and he actually grabs his neck and hits a fast diamond cutter from the second rope and gets a pinfall victory of Awesome, the first guy to pin Mike Awesome. Now, I know some people are gonna go, well, why would you have Awesome lose DDP? Well, there's several reasons. One, Mike Awesome is about to win something bigger than the U.S. title. 2, DDP needs to have the title for just a little bit longer to lose to somebody else. And also, it gives you that little feud to build later. Because in real life, DDP took time off around this time. So we're just going to move it up a little month. So he's going to win. But then like 8 days after, he's going to defend against Lance Storm on Nitro, who won the title in real life. But Mike Awesome's going to beat the shit out of him before the match. Just brutalize him, you know. DDP's still going to end the match. But he loses. He taps out to the Canadian Maple Leaf. He goes, you know, almost immediately as he gets it. And after the match, Canyon is helping his friend out of the ring. And then Mike Awesome comes, like they're on the ramp. Mike Awesome comes and clothesline both of them. He throws Canyon in the still steps. He starts brutalizing DDP some more. He powerbombs DDP into the crowd. And it's like, no, not in the crowd. Off the stage. That'd be better. Off the stage. So DDP is written off TV. Which didn't realize he did take time off TV. And now we basically build the second phase of the Mike Awesome career. And he's being called the career killer now. He also has in his entrance now, he's in the careers of Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Hollywood Hogan, Kevin Nash, and DDP. Because at the end of the day, DDP might have beat him, but who really won, right? We build up to the big feud. Him and Goldberg at the pay-per-view called New Blood Rising, which I still would call New Blood Rising. And this is basically a match, you know, a huge match that would make a lot of... Now, some people might say, why not Starrcade? Well, I have plans for Starrcade. Plus, I think Mike Awesome needs to win the title sooner than Starrcade. And if you can't tell, yes, he's going to beat Goldberg here. He's winning against Goldberg. And the next month, he faces Scott Steiner. Even though Scott Steiner is still technically a heel, this would be a nice little brutal, nice hostile, like big guys fighting, and Awesome still retains. But he's not in the main event this time because the main event is a War Games match. I want there to be at least one War Games match, you know, because they didn't have one in 2000, where it's Goldberg, Kevin Nash, who's returned now from injury, and Sting and Lex Luger teaming against the New Blood. And they're not called, by the way, they're not called the Mayor's Club. They're called like the Big Boys or something like that. Give them a better name. The Big Boys might not be that good either, but something against Mayor's Club. Jeff Jarrett, Vampiro, Shane Douglas, and not Conan. I forgot the last guy. I can't remember that fucking last guy. You know what? Anyway, Goldberg, he gets the win with a heel hook on Shane Douglas. He taps out, and that's the end of the whole New Blood. They're dead after this. They're gone. So that leads us to Halloween Havoc. Now, at the end of his match with Scott Steiner, Mike Awesome is in the ring. He's beating Scott Steiner with an awesome bomb, and at the end, he's about to break his leg with a chair again, like he's done this to Hogan, and Hogan goes back with Hogan, of course. And they have a brief confrontation. They don't really fight, and then we get to build up to Halloween Havoc, where Mike Awesome says, "I will give you a now." But let's point out something. I forgot. Silly me. Now, Bischoff's probably busy around this point, so we need another guy to kind of take over talking for a bit back Awesome. So at one point, we bring out a guy as his mouthpiece, and it's Jimmy Hart. Now, Jimmy Hart as I pointed out, was beaten up by Mike Awesome. Now, I could do typical WCW, or I just ignore that point. But no, we're going to bring up the fact that the reason he's managing Mike Awesome is basically 3 reasons. One, Mike Awesome visited him in the hospital even though he injured him, and Hogan didn't. That's the more important part. 2, it made Jimmy Hart realize Hulk Hogan was always a selfish asshole, basically. He wasn't a true friend. And 3, Mike Awesome reminds him of all the guys he used to manage, all these monsters and all these crazy guys that he had, and he wants to have that glory one last time in his career before he retires. So pretty simple story, though. I think, maybe it's still a little fucked up. He got his ass beat by Mike Awesome, but this is wrestling. Everybody gets their ass beat by somebody, and they still become friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, look what John Moxley did to Eddie Kingston. They're friends. So, if that could work, I'm sure him power on Jimmy Hart, that's not going to really be a friendship killer. So this leads to, you could have so many good promos with Hart and Hogan where Hart's like saying he told Awesome everything about Hogan, he's going to beat him. But Awesome basically says he'll give a shot to Hogan so long as Hogan puts something on the line against him. Well, 2 things. Hogan asks for a cage match because he wants to settle this once and for all. In his mind, this is his, his moment to take his revenge on Mike Awesome. And he's been gone for like 5 months, so this is a huge deal. 2, Mike Awesome demands, since he's putting his title on the line, or Jimmy Hart demands rather, Hogan put his career on the line. So it's career versus title in a cage, which is also a reference to the Hogan-Ric Flair Steel Cage Halloween Havoc match a few years earlier, or 5 years earlier, but also the fact that Hulk Hogan had, if you didn't know, Halloween Havoc is one of the biggest pay-per-views in WCW's, whole yearly thing. It was like one of their big shows, but Hogan had some very bad matches there, many years in a row. He had like 5 years of shit matches, but he had a pretty good match with Flair. It's not fantastic, it's not even their best match, but it's still a good match. But he followed that with 5 years of shit. So we're going to give Hogan, even Hogan, as much as I like Hogan, a chance to redeem himself. Just one time. Because him and Mike Awesome are going to have an awesome match. See what I did there? And in the end, Big Mike, Big Bad Mike, is going to win and retire Hogan. And then we get to the next pay-per-view, Mayhem. I'm not covering every Nitro in front there. I know I kind of did in the beginning, but it's a lot of stuff. But just rest assured, he does defend his title sometimes. Like he defends against Sting one time. On one of these Nitros to kind of build up fan interest. And then, okay. So in Mayhem, Mike Awesome defends. Again, speaking of Sting, Sting gets another shot at Mike Awesome. Even though and this one is he may get a special match or something. Anyway, he beats Sting. No biggie. He beats him. And at the same night, though, Booker T wins a triple threat against Scott Steiner and Jeff Jarrett. And Booker T has been getting built up slowly this time. He's been beaten on pay-per-view guys like Jeff Jarrett and Buff Bagwell. And it's being treated like, he might be the next big deal. So at Starrcade, we have Booker T against Mike Awesome. Mike Awesome, who's been champion now for 4 months, but basically beating everybody. Oh, I'm sorry, I messed up. It wasn't going to be, not Sting. Stupid me. And Mayhem is TDP because he makes his return the night after Halloween Havoc. Diamond cuts Mike Awesome, and they have an ambulance match. Mike Awesome wins. Career killer. And DDP, he does return a little bit after that because we still have the Insiders team of him and Kevin Nash. Because I think that was a pretty cool team. And they have a feud with Totally Buff. This is kind of giving them something to do. Totally Buff being Lex Luger and Bagwell. Because Lex Luger took on Nash. Buff helped Luger get a win. And after the match, they're beating down Nash. But DDP comes out even though he has a match with Mike Awesome later in the night. So that's kind of the beginning of that storyline. But he's sticking out for like a week or two. Still, though, he wins the ambulance match against DDP. But at Starrcade, we have Booker T versus Mike Awesome. And in the end, Booker T beats Mike Awesome in the ring. Because I think that is a pretty great story. It tells a good story. It builds up. Booker T has been getting built up for like 6 months now. Mike Awesome has been getting built up since he debuted. And he won the title. And even though he would have had a 4-month reign, I believe it would be. August. Yeah, 4-month reign. He would have been very dominant in the ring. He would have retired Hogan. And keep in mind, I'm booking this, so Hogan never returns to WCW. He might go to WWF. That's fine. I don't care if he goes to WWF. Or he does whatever he's going to do with those movies. Right? But he's retired Hogan. He took out Nash and DDP, even though they came back eventually. They do come back, but still, he took them out for a while. He took them out, and he's basically dominated WCW for basically 8 months in some way, shape, or form. And this is basically, he passes the torch to Booker T. And I think, if you had done this, not only would you have had Mike Awesome had a better career, a better run, made WCW a lot of that good moolah. Not only would you have given Goldberg a second world title reign in WCW because he never even got one. Not only would you try to look like a more competent champion because he actually would have had one title reign that lasted 2 months instead of a bunch of them splintered. They were like 1 day or 1 week, all that shit. But on top of all this, I don't think this is a big claim, but I don't think WCW would have died when it did. I think you still would have had some good money coming in for WCW. You know, because you would have had a guy who was going to be able to draw, and who was really a young, up-and-coming talent, and was building and was getting people to watch. And also, you might notice, I basically did the Magnificent Seven storyline, if you know about that bullshit. I did that, but I did it with one guy, instead of having 7 dudes, and across just 1 year, you know? Or about 4 months, around the same time they did it. Anyway, that's the way I would book it. Now, I know there's more of his career, like, and if I kept going, like, what would it be if WCW didn't die, you know? Kind of hard to say because it's hard to know because we don't have that data. But I would definitely have Booker T hold the title for like 4 months, maybe 5. I don't know. Also, wouldn't just disappear. He'd have like some kind of role in the main event. You know, like it's kind of like the way Seth Rollins and other people seen like they'll lose title, but they'll stay in the title picture and stuff like that. Randy Orton, you know, stuff like that. As you see, like Mike Awesome will still be around. Like he'd probably have some feuds with like a Super Bowl. I could see him fighting Sting in a pay-per-view match, maybe because that hasn't happened. Or facing Goldberg in a rematch because at this point Goldberg has never gotten his title shot back. He's never gotten his rematch. That's a huge money match. You could definitely build that for the non-title. But either way, I think this would be a way better thing for Mike Awesome if they had done this 21 years ago. Just keep him the career killer. Obviously, there'd be some problems. Hogan ain't gonna do the clean job to anybody. Especially twice he retired. But I'm booking this. I don't care. Fuck Hogan. He gonna do the clean job. And this is... Even if without the Hogan clean job, you still could have did a lot of stuff. Like, I think Nash should have put him over. I think DDP had no problem putting him over. You had guys that would put him over. And you still came up with stuff like 70s guy. And I love that 70s show, but that was stupid. Like, well, what was even the fucking point? It didn't work. He's and the Fat Chick Thriller, yeah, okay, but why? Like, why Mike Awesome? Why not somebody else on the card who could use a gimmick like that? But I bramble a little bit. Clearly, but that's how I would book it. Basically, have him just dominate WCW for basically 8 months of 2000. It's 8 straight months of him dominating, destroying legends, and beating the crap. I didn't even mention Ric Flair. He could probably have a good match with Ric Flair later on in 2001. Basically, making WWE champ for 4 months, making him just so dominant. And there you go. That's the way. Now, there is one consequence, I guess you could say, of this, would be like, Scott Steiner never becomes WWE champion. He might later on, but he doesn't become in 2000. But, you know, what? His reign wasn't that good, if we're being honest. It was just okay. He had some very bad matches in there. It started out good, but it got very shit. And he still could win the title. Like, there's nothing stopping him from winning the title. Eventually, he probably could win it. He probably shouldn't because he's a crazy asshole back then, but, you know, he could. But, yeah, you know, and other than that, I don't know anything else that might change. Like, would Kidman and Flair have built Kidman up more than what he was supposed to be? Because he was definitely supposed to be built up more in the stupid feud with Hogan. That was just a little aside to give, you know, Kidman something to do while Hogan was fighting Mike Awesome. But anyway, thanks for watching. Oh, yeah, shout out to you, Sora. Love you. You're great. And everybody else watching, thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. I hope you have an awesome day.